So, so this video is basically me ranting about something. Not something is supposed to be Black Panther because recently I rewatched it and it just helped me notice something about the film that is misportrayed a lot. Like the black community in like from what I've seen in the past time when it was like portrayed and all that, they're being a bit hostile towards anybody else that was watching it other than the black community just because of the fact it was there's it was a movie with an all black cast mostly, you know. But like in the film, it's heavily like messages you heavily that, for example, Killmonger is just basically a very much prejudiced man. Like he seems he has seen the bad shit that happens to people that are oppressed, like the black people, and from that he's turned into more like, you know, how do I put it? Well, this is basically very racist in a way where he wants the blacks to rule and take over the government. And from my understanding of what I garnered from his messaging and his dialogue in the movie. Well, let me go back on that. Killmonger portrays that idea that blacks are very much oppressed, which they are as well. But he's very much racist if you think about it. Like that's what he portrays. I'm sorry for reiterating. But then you got Black Panther, where he's sticking to the ideals of cut everybody off, our community is this thing. But he starts to understand you can't really live a life where you cannot have connections at all. Because as he mentions, the connections make you stronger. They don't make it worse. And that's also portraying the fact that a lot of a lot of races in like say United States or everything else, they're very much segregating themselves. Even though we in the past like they were segregated through slavery and so and so, but now when they're given freedom, they're segregating themselves because they don't intend to make any connections. And that's something I even noticed because the black community, as you can fucking see in a lot of things, if you look it up, like they're very hostile to the fact like anybody that was white was watching, but I don't think they could garner the message that stop segregating yourselves. Start making connections. You can't just live your whole entire like have your whole entire thought process on the fact that because of the fact that we as a white people made mistakes in the past on slavery, Abraham Lincoln and so, never freed the slaves and such. Well, sort of, whatever. But you can't put things in the past. Think about the now. If you keep segregating yourselves into the ghettos, which weren't meant for segregation in the first place, like that's what they were used in World War II for the Jews and such. But off topic. So the communities like race, the different communities of races, they should really need to stop segregating themselves and make connections. It's an issue that we've been facing, and it's not even improving at all. Like that's the whole entire message of Black Panther. I've seen it misportrayed of the fact, well, it gets overshadowed the fact that it's a black cast and all these black kids and all that fucking black community over praising it just because it's the best film of time, even though the movie was a bit generic with its storyline approach, but it's still a good movie. But it has a message that you can't just see as everybody as the enemy who has like brought you bad. In Killmonger's sense, at least, since from what you can make a experiences can lead to bad things. And for example, Killmonger, he fucking he hates the governments and all that, and he wants better for the blacks. But at the same time, there's also an issue socially, a social issue, with the communities themselves because he believes that he can fucking overthrow the government and all that. We do it Wakandans and shit, which he could have easily do. But would that even make a better society? No, it wouldn't. What would make a better society and make us all human and coexist with each other is we stop segregating ourselves. And that's what I'm getting to. The whole message was that you should stop segregating yourselves and make more connections. That's the whole entire message that the movie brought out. And if you just start using that in the most antisocial way, and I'm using the correct definition because antisocial is going up against everybody, hating humanity. Asocial is the right definition for like being, being by yourself, but whatever. But these people are a lot of words. We shouldn't be segregating ourselves. We should make more connections, which will better ourselves and better our social community, these communities, and help us as humans evolve away from the fact that there's prejudice, which was built on the fact that of like civil war, if I'm correct. Well, from my understanding of it, since slavery and all that was the basis of it. But yeah, this is basically my rant. Enjoy this little polar bear. I hope you enjoyed it. Links in the description, I guess, if you want to fucking follow me, whatever the fuck. I was originally gonna make this into a Twitter video, but I expected myself to rant it a bit more. I should have. Also, I put more effort with this video on the thumbnail now. So I hope you enjoyed that thumbnail. But yeah. Enjoy your day. Wait. Just so you know, this is the new part. That other shit was the previous video. But here right now is a re-recording of all the new snazzy stuff that I put in there. So, don't leave anything. And this part is primarily as a way to clarify on some things I said because I moved a bit too quick with some of the shit I said. And just want to go on and finish up the Photoshop thumbnail, which took like 3 hours. But yeah. So, how I'm going to do this is by not using so much as a script as recommended by a friend of mine, but sort of improvising and using like my friend's comment right here as a guideline and this long ass fucking novel as another guideline for myself. Just because, I'm too lazy to write a fucking novel of a fucking script for like this sort of shit. So, yeah. Also, my voice may not be so clear since I have a sore throat. So, hopefully that does not do any bad to some people. But, give me a moment. I didn't even save a screen to read. I guide myself to improvising all this shit. Let me set that up real quick for myself. Yes, I'm half-assing all this shit. So, one thing for sure, the Tucker says, mentions the polar bear with his A side of things. And I just mentioned, it fucking took a fuck ton of time just to get that shit. But on the B thing, the anti-hero side of things, I responded with that, I don't know, it's based on your views of prejudices, to be honest. What I was mainly trying to do, I was trying to make his intentions cohesive and his, everything else, but, and keep in mind, I didn't even rewatch the old recording, I just fucking put it up. And, I was stuttering and couldn't find the correct words. What I was trying to say is that Killmonger. Fuck. This is hard as fuck too without a script. I should have actually made a script. Okay, so Killmonger basically wanted to bring his oppressed party above and beyond to oversees all forms of governments in the world right now, like China, Russia, the United States, Canada. For some reason, Canada. And now that who would be against Canada? Actually, wait, never mind. Off topic. Where he just wants to create a revolution where Wakandans, blacks, all forms of blacks, this became the superior race and human race, if you could say. And either fucking make slavery back a thing or genocide for everybody that aren't them. But what I saw in Killmonger was that he was very much the radical side of the coin, other than Black Panther. But let me go on. His image, like, he represented the prejudice of a like black person that extremely hated, very much hated any oppressing party, like the whites, the fucking anybody that stereotypes, racist, etc., prejudice. And with that sort of hate, that can lead to fucking crazy ass shit. Crazy shit. Very crazy. And with Black Panther, well, crazy ass shit. Excuse me. I shouldn't be fucking. I shouldn't be fucking doing this shit. All going all over the place, but I am. But Killmonger very much. He was so fucking radical enough to fucking go about stealing the fucking army of Wakanda, and fucking set out to a war with every single fucking state and country, and yada yada. While T'Challa, Black Panther, he was the other side of the coin that was understanding of like bettering social relations with different races and such, which I see as something we need to do to evolve out of our state and issue, and just to go away from all this negativity that you see all around with this fucking political agendas and such. Like all the news, all the fucking police officers doing fucking stupid shit and bad apple, and representing the police officers in the bad fucking way, even though not are bad, just those fucking idiots. Either way, now C on what Tucker says. Part C. Racists are doing prejudice. Now, this is an explanation of what happened. So I couldn't word, and this is me word for word saying what I put in the comment. I couldn't word everything properly, as you can see it here in that last recording, because I had trouble finding the correct words. So I went with the flow to try to get my message out in some aspect, which it contrived it a bit. Hopefully, I'm using the correct word for that. Made it more contrived and not understanding, and probably would have led to a fuck ton of hate. Even though I did get a bit of support from my friend, but she's her. But yeah, either way. But I had trouble finding the correct words, so I want the flow to try and get my message out in some aspect. And like I'm doing right now, I should have re-recorded, but decided to go on and start up with the stream, which I did do for the thumbnail. And I didn't look back on it, but did reconsider near the end, like while uploading that maybe I should have re-recorded it, because I knew I probably didn't get all the right things said. But I felt like I didn't have the time, because after like finishing the thumbnail, I was supposed to like make some emails for a Discord server, but during that time we were set to gaming. There was fucking planned gaming on the stream, which I can't stream because the game itself, because it fucked up, or whatever. And like the game itself was Warhammer 40k. I was gonna play with fucking Goat. I don't know if anybody puts it. I'll probably put a link in there in the description. Hopefully. Yeah. So that answers part C of Tucker's little thing. Now part D. What he says is that black citizens actually seeing the enemy as of other races as the enemy, or skin tones, which it actually happens a lot. I didn't go out and get a proof. I did not do my research. I'm just I'm just summarizing from everything I've seen. Because there's so much fucking hate with like a white person going into the theater just to watch Black Panther. Because it was seen as a black culture film. Very much but in the black culture in itself. Because of how it well, it's just because of it being a Black Panther movie in general since it represents. But yeah, there was a lot of fucking radical fuckers attacking whites, and normally there are radical fucking black people that hate white people. They're just so antisocial about it. But going on what he says, the forgetting the past part, I'll admit, I did not. I'm. I can understand that since I never did any hardships in my life with racism, prejudice, and any sort of things. Because I guess it's because I'm white, or just because I stayed out of trouble every single time. I always stay out of trouble. If fucking say if someone smokes weed in the bathroom at school, I was like, okay, have fun with that. I'm just gonna walk out. I'm gonna acknowledge that you fucking smoked weed in there, but ain't my problem. You're gonna get fucked either way. But either way, going back. I'm fucking sick. Sore throat. But admittedly, it's just make because of the fact that I have hardships, it makes it easier on me to assume and so that like some things can be easily forgotten. Well, yes, some things can't be easily forgotten, but it's only to me it can be a way to evolve out of it, but it won't be in any way easy. You can't just forget a long fucking fuckery of the whites who fucking made slaves and all of that other shit. Well, not made slaves, but encouraged slavery to a fuller extent in the USA, which all the Confederate shit and all that other shit. But I went on to just speak about the Emancipation Proclamation, the mistakes of white people, which the Emancipation Proclamation, that was something else. Because while it was intended to release all slaves, that's what the intent. The thing is that there's already slaves in the USA on the Union side, building the building the fucking buildings and such. So they weren't necessarily even free, and even if they went into the Union, they wouldn't have even been free. They would have to be forced to fight a rebellion. But going on from that is that even with the Emancipation Proclamation, it didn't do anything because the Confederates, all the slaves in the rebellion side, couldn't do really much because they're just dealing with this hierarchy in the Confederate side of things. I'm sort of getting off track, but still, the Confederate side of things, they just didn't want to fuck around with the Confederates and get killed just for trying to leave and travel to the North, which it didn't do anything. I bet Abraham Lincoln even did this, but still, the message never got relayed to them at all, too. So the only thing that, holy God, I'm congested. The only thing that the Emancipation Proclamation did was made it more of a moral issue and made it more topical to just speak on the issues of slavery in itself within both sides. Which, in the end, in the Civil War, once it ended, slavery was abolished. But hopefully, I'm using this correctly. It created like a sort of apartheid society in a way. And yeah, well, now, let me see if I got yeah. Now, here's for the part E. Now, this is exclusionary zoning. This is something I actually do know somewhat of. I could have acknowledged it. I'm just going to leave this picture here real quick, just to get an understanding, the viewer to understand what the fuck is happening on in exclusionary zoning, basically. But it's a read. I haven't read it yet because time stuff, or whatever. I didn't know of it. I do know of it, but not to a fuller extent to speak on it, or to some extent that I would have remembered to speak on such things. I'm gonna take that out. But even if I were to speak on it, I wouldn't have made it more. I wouldn't have spoken on it correctly and had a good grasp of knowledge on it. And going on from the the cost of rezoning and stopping this like exclusionary zoning shit, I never thought of it. And like I said, I didn't fucking read too much into it. Well, I never read into it. I just know of its presence. So, and I go on to say that, fuck. But let me go on. I go on to say this in the comment. I wasn't putting much thought into the cost of rezoning, but more so the actual action of it happening in our society, which is stopping all this segregation and all that. And I assume and I go on to say this, I assume the rezoning in cities is either not stated at all or just not part of our mainstream news within this new fake news bullshit that has been becoming so fucking prominent and noticeable in this presidential era with Trump and all that shit. It's become so fucking noticeable. Well, there's all the parts being done with. And this is me speaking on forward on the comment itself. A little understanding of this bottom side of it, overall where it starts, but yeah. So I'm gonna speak on that. Overall, I could have done better to relay my message and re-record it, which I am doing now. But admittedly, I still believe a lot of relations with our country and humanity from prejudice should be improving either through either party, race, or faction of the sort through some push outside of the retards within the SJW bullshit that goes on with them. But even with our push, though, I'm only saying this to acknowledge this counter argument. The issue would still be impossible to solve, even still, because of our species being human, which humans do a lot of dumb shit. They fucking think so stupidly, yada yada. And like humans are very so complex. Like shit will go down or grow up, even with good intentions and understanding the situation. But there's always going to be a fucking idiot who ruins something. And like I said, I only say this to acknowledge this side of the argument, the counter argument. But I go on to say why my full message is in the comment. I say all the way down here, the last paragraph or something of the sort you could call it. Holy fuck, this is 15 minutes long. This is a nice re-recording. But I go on to say the main reason I even brought up such rants and came up with this concept of the rant for this video was like because I remember like walking around school and I spoke of it with a compatriot of mine, which is the female who actually never even mentioned this. Going back on where the fuck was it? Part D, where it talks about the radicals, black people that were fucking going crazy over Black Panther. This compatriot of mine, her parents actually went to go watch it, and they were actually fucking harassed by some black folk. And this was I live in Florida, so it's not surprising. But they're harassed just because of them going into the theaters of looking at it. They were like getting stared at. And there's actually even news of some woman going about seeing Black Panther, some fucking radical bitch going and slamming a bottle against her head for being white and watching a film for the black culture. I say these with, in quotation marks. I say that with quotation marks, in a way. But yeah, going back on the main reason I made the video. I remember I spoke of it with a compatriot of mine who agreed on how much idiocy was within its praise during its release because of the general consensus that was occurring mainstream was that all black cast, hooray, and black representation for us, and so, which, in my opinion, it's not really all black cast, just because, most of the main cast are black, but there's a few black people, white people, a few black people, and the black representation was, to me, I saw a lot of children go out to see it. I saw news outlets reporting on that, and some school going about taking their students to go watch it on release day. And I fucking lost myself, but younger audiences viewed it, and I hope they grasp the message that of like the movie gave out that you shouldn't be segregating, you shouldn't be racist, you should be trying to live a life with like other races and don't get racist over like this one bad apple that fucking ruins it all. Like make better social relations with our kind, which I hope Generation Z improves upon with all this stupidity and all. But at the same time, there's now wiggers uh, in our society which make them more retarded. But either way, that's another topic. But to me, I felt the movie got abused, like because of the fact that it was stapled as the black movie of this generation or whatever the fuck it got coined as. But I hope you get the gist of what I meant by that. But due to just such abuse on the fact of its creation, because of its being a Black Panther movie and representing black people in general. But when approaching the film, you're just enjoying it for either a superhero movie or a film in the black culture outside, and not grasping the dialogue with any form of proper analysis, but for entertainment, as intended for these types of films, obviously. Since superhero film, obviously, it's meant for entertainment, like the MCU and yada yada. But going on from that, and like I said, and will reiterate again since I've reiterated it more than once. Holy God, it's going to be 20 minutes of recording. Oh, fuck it. I lost myself for a second. I felt like it was very much ignored, the message was, and not focused on from my whole point of view of things within the whole mainstream media in itself, not including news or blogs or whatever that were niche kind of like blogs or anything. Since maybe they have reported on it, maybe they spoke on it, maybe there was interviews, I don't know. I didn't look too much into it. I'm going from what I saw. And communities within our cultures, and barely saw anybody speaking on it. But at the same time, I don't fucking roam around social media so much. Holy God, this speaking this much is fucking on my sort though. Um, but like I said, people came in and left accepting it was either a superhero film, or that it was, or the black culture film that was popularized with ignorance of what felt to be seen as important in the film, which was the message. Which really the whole opening of Up to Other Countries bit in the end was more received as a point in the story in the MCU since Infinity War. Black Panther bridged the fact of Infinity War bridged it to Infinity War. And the whole story with the MCU going on forward, to my assumption at least, because that's what any normal human being would get out of it, instead of analyzing anything of the dialogue that Killmonger said, or maybe Black Panther said. But yeah, that's basically my whole entire comment compromised or spoke on and made cohesive in this recording. But yeah, this is gonna take a little bit longer to upload now, isn't it? Fuck me. No, at least I got to relax after this. But yeah, this is what I need to say. It's just because people would have taken my original words and maybe abused it and used it against me, my stuttering and all that, where they would have been abusing me, was harassing me with that. Yeah, not abuse. Abuse is something else. Well, it relates to harassment, whatever. Off topic. But yeah, my view on it, plain and simple, is that Black Panther is more the idea, the concept of bettering relations, our social relations with us in general in humanity, and evolving out of this primitive state of hate and all that. While Killmonger was this concept of hate, the embodiment of hate and prejudice against in their oppressed party, like black people, on which they're very much oppressed. But yeah, and like the whole entire message of the Black Panther film that I had grasped in my rewatching of it was that we need to we shouldn't be continuing on with this hate that we're keep building off from the past. And I understand you can't fucking forget the past, but I'm just saying this. I'm not saying to forget about the past. No one's gonna forget about the mistakes and everything. But I'm just saying, we need to evolve out of this primitive state of ours where we just have all this hate bunched up into the fact of these bad apples that get reported on this fucking news. These fucking people getting portrayed in the news and like making it worse on our social relations, like the police and the fucking school shooters and all that. They're making us the white people in general stereotypes. Like white people are fucking crazy enough to do all this fucking stupid shit. But going on from that, holy fuck, I forgot. I fucking went on a blank. I was talking about the whole message, yeah. The whole message, though. Give me a moment. I'm fucking trying to remember. Oh, fuck. Yeah, bettering relations of ourselves and going away from this primitive state of ours in this era. And I hope Generation Z fixes this issue that we've been facing so we can go exist more peacefully. Which, while world peace is impossible, is entirely impossible because we're human and all that. It at least makes it easier upon taking away all this prejudice out of the concept of prejudice out of our society. That's what I want to say. And what I felt was that the entire people that watched the film never grasped that sort of thing, as I'm reiterating right now. They never grasped. Oh my god, I have a lips. They never grasped the fact that that message was laid in there. Because we can't just be left having this hate filled within us over our past mistakes. And I'm going to reiterate this. I'm not saying to forget. I'm not saying to even forget. I'm just saying to just try to build a relationship so we can coexist as fine. And you can have your prejudices and all that within you, but to build away from such things, we need to just coexist, have better social relations and all that. Because the issue is going to be here for a long time, and with us evolving into Space Force, the Space Force shit, and us having to put ourselves and outside of our own planet Earth, which possibly the Space Force thing, if it ever happens, it'll be a fundamental piece of helping our issues at Earth in this world of ours. So yeah, that's all I need to say. So I hope you enjoyed. I fixed I don't know if I'm gonna change the damn thumbnail, but I'm putting two types of descriptions, one for the new description and the old description, so read that if you want to. And I hope this is better received. This version is better received than the other ones. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this small little piece of editing. I got traced into this. And now I'm going to have to continue editing and putting this into Premiere and so and so. So enjoy your day. And hopefully you follow me on all this fucking bullshit on this social media shit. And maybe like the video if you want. But yeah, have a good day. Later. Good service. And everybody else. Bye.